Welcome to the 5 Minute Life's Questions and Lessons podcast. I am your host, Charity Youngblood, and I am so grateful that you are here with me today. Let's get started with today's topic: how to uncover why you're not saying no. How to uncover why you're not saying no. So, we have started our How to Start Saying No series. And this series has a little bit of a different structure. I actually would like to hear your feedback on that. But as we are kind of moving forward, this episode is really going to focus on the process of uncovering the reasons why you are not saying no. And if you can think about this in another way, it can also be the reasons why you're not already saying no. Whenever we're thinking about starting something or changing some type of behavior, there's one thing that sometimes doesn't get talked about, and that's there's always a reason, and usually multiple reasons, for why you're not already doing something that you want to do. So I really want to hone in on that fact and have you get to thinking about what that means to you, right? So one of the questions, and kind of almost like more of an activity that I'd love for you to try, is to think about either the last time your boss asked you to do something at work that you did not have the capacity to do, or a situation where a family member or a friend invited you to an event or happy hour or something like that, somewhere you needed to be where you just did not want to go. And it's really important that you think about the things that you don't want to do, or the things that you did not, because we're thinking about the past, that you didn't want to do, right? So put yourself in that, space. What were the thoughts that were going through your mind when that person asked you to do that thing? So let's use the example of the boss. If your boss asked you to take on another piece of a project or put three more tasks on your plate and you did not have the capacity to do it, why did you say yes to that thing, right? So what was it about that moment where you knew in your heart and in your mind that you could not do whatever it was that was being asked of you, but you felt like you had to say yes, right? So that would be really the first question to start with. Why did you feel like you needed to say yes? Or did you feel like you needed to say yes? And then the second piece of that would be why. So, what we're really trying to get to, and we talked about this a little bit on the last podcast episode, is there are emotional and just like emotions that we go through and certain beliefs that we have around saying no. So, for me, back when, this was a very challenging thing for me to say no to, more the people that I loved and like really close friends, I never had a problem saying no at work. I'm just like, no, I ain't doing that, because I've always had very strong boundaries at work. So I can't really in good conscience give you a work example for me, because that was not where my struggle was. My struggle was with friends and family. And if you know anything about me, I really put my family very, very high on, the pedestal. So it's kind of like family and life and, personal things, if you will, and then work. So it kind of makes sense why me telling my boss, no, I can't do that. Anyways, whatever, it doesn't matter. So for me, what some of the thoughts that that would like prevent me from saying no, or the emotions that I would feel, is I would kind of, it would almost be like a cringe feeling. Your shoulders start to go up and you're like, I really don't want to do this thing, but I don't want to let her down. Or I felt like this is something that family does. Family doesn't say no. Family shows up for events. Family shows up for happy hours. Family shows up for X, Y, and Z. Or if a friend asked me to help out with something that I just didn't want to do, it's like, but that's my friend. That's what friends are supposed to do. And I'm sharing that with you because hopefully you can see that that's something that we all kind of struggle with. And eventually, the space that I'm hoping you get to is those things are not true. You have to put yourself first. And if you really don't want to do something for whatever reason, whatever your reason to say no is, you are allowed to do that. You have permission to say, you know what? No, I'm tired. I have no desire to go to X, Y, and Z. I have no desire to work myself to death for no reason. So that's what I had on my heart. As you are thinking about how to explore these questions, one thing that I'm really trying to kind of help a little bit more with is to implement self reflection into what you're already doing. So if you are already taking a walk today, take this question on a walk, right? Start to think about this on your walk. If you're already planning on doing dishes, that's when you can kind of explore these questions and this concept. So that's what I had for you today. As always, thank you so much for listening. Please rate and review this podcast wherever you're listening to my words. And if this episode has been helpful for you and this series has been helpful, please share it. We are here on this planet to help each other. So if it was helpful for you, it's probably going to be helpful for someone else. And until next time, take care.